What's going on, guys? And today we're going to be doing the top centers in this year's NBA draft. So let's get right into it. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section if you guys agree with this. And let's get right into it. Guy, of course, is Alex Sarr, the 7'1" big man out of the NBL. The Frenchman who's averaged 9.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.5 blocks on 52% from the field. That's from like a backup role. And this is what you want. He has everything in his game. He's a guy who could be a two-way guy who's a shooter and a shot blocker, who's super coveted across the league. Obviously, there's some consistency things, but he might not offer the upside that Victor Wembanyama or Paolo Banchero, but his versatility on defense and his ability to stretch the floor makes him the strong contender to be the top player in this draft and the best center. But yeah, what's your thoughts? Coming in at 2, Kyle Filipowski, the Duke center, who's averaged this past year. He was a big boy who himself averaged 16.5 points, 8.3 rebounds to go with 1.5 blocks, 50% from the field. I've said he's kind of like Naz Reid. He's reminded me as a guy who can be an inside out. Some people say that they remind him of kel'el. I think he's going to be an impact player who can do a little bit of rim protection, pass a little bit, do a little bit of everything, and type of player that I think could have a long NBA career, either as a solid backup or as a, middle of the road starter. But yeah. Next, we have Donovan Clingan. He's a guy who I think is kind of like the more mobile and longer version of Hukporti. He's on his way to the national championship game. 13 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, 64% for the field. He's got like almost an 8-foot wingspan on that 7'2" frame. He's going to be a guy who's going to be an impact defender from day one in the NBA. Yves Missi is the 4th best guy, kind of modern day Clint Capella. That's what people are saying about him. 11 points, 5.6 rebounds per game, 1.5 blocks, just under 62% from the field. 6'10". He's a guy that honestly is playing only like 20-something minutes a night. So just imagine, with a little bit of refinement, how good he could be. But I think he's someone that he could slowly climb up boards and maybe borderline lottery mid to late first round. Coming in at 5, Khalil Ware, the man who averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks a game, almost 59% from the field. And he was a guy who transferred from Oregon, and he's everything you want. Size, could be a 3-and-D guy, definitely with his young age. I think he could really be similar to Derek Lively and shoot up the board. Coming in at 6, Ethan Almanza from the G League Ignite, 6'10". He averaged 10.5 points, 7 rebounds, just under a block a game, 56% from the field almost. And he was a guy who finished the season on a tear. He has the most accolades out of a European prospect since Luka Doncic. And honestly, he could be a guy that with his skill set, I really could see him being a very similar player to like Al Horford. Purdue's big man, Zach Edey. I honestly think he's Boban Marjanovic, the 7'4" big man who's averaging 25 points, 12.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, almost on 63% from the field. He's a guy that obviously his size and his mobility is going to be questioned at the next level, but you can't ignore it. Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're talking about Oso out of Marquette, the man who averaged 13.5 points, 7 rebounds, block and a half a game, 57% from the field. He's kind of, your typical just rebounding, rim running big. He's a guy that, again, I think could fly up the pre-draft boards, but he's a very simplistic. Maybe he could be like Trace Jackson Davis, but I want to hear your thoughts. At 9, Adam Bona. I've actually met him, really nice guy. I met him at the Combine last year. 12.5 points, 6 rebounds, just under 2 blocks a game, 58.8% from the field. The man's a dog, athletic freak. I could see him being like kind of the Oscar Schwebe of this draft class, even though he's not as good of a rebounder as he physically should be. Ugana Onyenso, this guy's a freak, okay? 3.6 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2.8 blocks on like super limited minutes. The guy's a shot blocking menace. When you have numbers like this, this guy's going to be a freak. This guy might be someone who could fly up the boards. I could see him being a freak in the NBA shot blocking and dunking wise because of that length and athleticism. PJ Hall can do a little bit of everything. He can shot block, he can rebound, he can score inside and out. And I think he's a guy that might surprise people and develop into like a two-way to a, multi-year contract guy. I think there's a role for him in the NBA. Aaron Bradshaw in the preseason was supposed to be the best center. Averaged 5 points, 3.5 rebounds, just under a block, 58% for the field. He's supposed to be a 3-and-D guy. Injuries held him back. I think he's a guy that if he does declare could be, similar to Yves Sarr and develop from a two-way standpoint into a multi-year contract guy who's a 3-and-D big. But yeah. Ariel Hukporti a few years ago was a borderline first-round pick. He blew his Achilles out last year, came back, averaged 8 points, 7 rebounds, 58% from the field, 1.5 blocks per game, and has been really well. So I think there's a place for him in the NBA. Could go up in the pre-draft process. Let me hear your thoughts. He's auto-eligible this year too. But that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me think your thoughts, what you thought on the video. Bye.